Are you an employee? Ephesians 6, be obedient to those who are your employers according to the flesh with fear and trembling, in the sincerity of your heart as to Christ, not by way of eye service as men pleasers, but as slaves of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, with good will render service as to the Lord and not to men, knowing that whatever good thing each one does, he will receive back from the Lord, whether slave or free. That you are serving Christ. Even if you are mistreated, even if you are maligned, even if you are not given your due, you are serving Christ, and you should serve with a sincerity of heart and represent Christ there. One of the things that is so important is many of you need to understand. I was preaching several years ago on the biblical view of employment, and this state trooper came up to me afterwards. I mean, just a man's man. He came up to me, he's just crying. And I said, brother, what's wrong? He said, I sit hours and hours and hours a day in a car, catching people going too fast. And I've sat there and I've thought, I don't serve Christ. I don't do anything. I just sit here. I'm a state trooper. I arrest bad guys, and my life has no meaning. And he says, now that I understand Scripture, my life is filled with meaning. I do this as unto the Lord. This is what He has called me to be, and I will be it. Many of you think that God only calls you to be certain things in the church. No, He calls you to be accountants and housewives and policemen and judges, and yes, even used car salesmen. Matter of fact, the godliest man I know on the face of the earth is Adrian Jones from Ledbetter, Kentucky, and he's a used car salesman, and he's done more to help the church in Romania than probably every mission organization combined. You see, do it as unto the Lord. You see, let me give you a little eschatological truth. When Christ entered into the grave and then broke it open, that grave door was shattered, and the entire tomb was filled with light and even meaning. And when you throw open the door of your life and your employment and everything that you do as a housewife, as a mother, as a father, as this and that, and you throw open that grave door, the light of Christ fills that tomb with meaning and light. You've been taught that it's a little thing to be a mother. It's a little thing to be a housewife. And you say, well, what's the meaning in all of this? My life has no meaning. And the feminists in the world today tell you your life has no meaning. That is a lie. When Christ is brought into it, it is filled with meaning. Our whole life ought to be just glowing with the life of Christ. Are you an employer? Then practice justice and equity without partiality, knowing that both their master and yours is in heaven, and there is no partiality with Him. Employers ought to tremble, to be fair, full of equity and kindness